Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the January 16th edition of Carolina Week.
I'm Catherine Cannon, and I'll tell you about two Franklin Street favorites that are now closed.
National elections will take a back seat to student government elections soon. We'll tell you how things are kicking off.
In sports, while the students are away, the athletes still play.
Weathercaster Johnny O is here to tell us if we'll be seeing any of the white stuff soon.
All that and Carolina's Red Brick Road. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Sarah Huffman.
And I'm Adam Rue. Thank you for joining us for this first newscast of the spring semester. Those of you returning from winter break might have noticed some changes in downtown Chapel Hill. Reporter Catherine Cannon is on Franklin Street with details. Catherine?
Two popular restaurants on Franklin Street are closed, Adam, and some people aren't happy about it. Downtown Chapel Hill is constantly changing, but the Ram's Head Rathskeller has been a Franklin Street favorite for almost 60 years. The Rathskeller closed its doors in the Amber Alley on December 14th. Owner Francis Henry wrote in a letter that the restaurant had to close because of a new downtown business climate, unpaid taxes, and the age of the building. Former Rathskeller cook Randy Cabrick wasn't surprised by the closing.
It was something that they were kind of expecting to happen, then finally it just did. The owner could have easily taken care of it. He just didn't want to.
Franklin Street visitors have mixed feelings.
I grew up eating at the Rathskeller. When I was a teenager, it was a real big deal to come to Chapel Hill and eat there.
They knew in the 70s that it was, dirty and not that good of food. But it was an institution, a tradition in Chapel Hill.
In addition to the Rathskeller, Buffalo Wild Wings also closed during break. But Chamber of Commerce Director of Economic Development, Adam Klein, says even with the closings, the Franklin Street menu is expanding.
I know that Franklin Street has its challenges. I think that everybody would acknowledge that, but I know that there's a lot of good work that's going on right now in downtown.
Chill Bubble Tea and Sugarland Bakery are two new options on Franklin Street. Even with new restaurants opening downtown, it will be hard to replace an old favorite tradition.
Catherine, is there any possibility the Rathskeller will reopen?
Adam, the property is scheduled to be auctioned next month, so we'll know then if the restaurant will return.
All right, Catherine Cannon starting us off from Franklin Street tonight. Thank you. New restaurants aren't the only changes students are noticing. A nearly $5 million traffic adjustment could ease travel at an intersection many drivers consider the worst in Chapel Hill. It's called the Super Street Project. Now, drivers on Highway 15501 can no longer make left-hand turns at Irwin Road and Europa Drive. Instead, traffic follows a loop, taking drivers onto the opposite sides of 15501 and then allowing right-hand turns. Many drivers say the new intersection is confusing, so pay close attention to signs in the area.
The future of Carolina North is on the minds of many Chapel Hill residents. UNC leaders met with the town council and local residents recently to discuss concerns and expectations regarding the project. The university has been holding public information sessions since March. Mayor Kevin Foy believes involving the town and the university is important in order to make sure Carolina North meets everyone's expectations.
Investment of time up front so that in 20 or 30 years people don't look back and say, what were you thinking? Why didn't you do it right? And if you look at the existing campus, especially main campus, I think we all look at it and say they did it right.
The 1,000-acre site is about 2 miles north of the main campus. Its primary purpose is to house university research projects. The site will also become home to some classes that are currently on the main campus, and there will be a number of residential units intended primarily for faculty and staff. Election preparations are underway, and we're not talking about the South Carolina primary. These potential candidates for student government are beginning their month-long hike to Election Day. The Student Board of Elections held a mandatory meeting last night for candidates to fill out their official declarations of candidacy. Board of Elections Chairman Mitchell Capriglione says candidates were required to come to the meeting in order to get their names on the ballot.
So it's really important for candidates to come out to this, and it's basically just a time for them to learn all the rules and sort of get acquainted with what's going to be going on during the election season.
The elections for student body class Student president, class officers, and other positions are Tuesday, February 12th, with a runoff the next week if necessary. Carolina Week will have live elections returns both nights.
Ranchers are still taking a big blow from the drought, and the struggles will continue even if we get some rain. Next, we'll introduce you to one woman who might have to take the ultimate blow.
Hello, ladies.
Can you imagine your life without animals? Here at the Durham Animal Shelter, we can't. So come see us. Your new best friend is already expecting you.
Let's give it a shot. You can do it this time. I gotta get a real dog.
Next trip to the store, look for products made from recycled materials, then buy them.
Call 1-800-2-RECYCLE for your free Buy Recycled shopping guide.
Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Sally's having some behavioral problems.
I guess that reward system isn't working.
Well, the timeouts weren't either.
Well, you're just too lenient.
Well, you're too strict.
No, you are.
Oh, you are.
Where can adults go for ideas when they feel as frustrated as kids? ConnectForKids.org, guidance for grown-ups.
The severe drought is having devastating effects on our state's farmers and ranchers. Reporter Jennifer Carpenter visited with one horse owner who might have to give up her horses and her dream.
The situation is just so desperate. It's downright depressing. You know? Okay, come on, girls. Out you go.
Carol Delenko makes her livelihood on 60 parched acres. Even her horses are hoping for rain.
No rain, no grass. The grass doesn't grow. And the grass just dried up. I mean, it was like walking on Rice Krispies.
Many of our horse owners rely on good quality hay, which they cut in the summer and bale and have it ready to feed in the winter. Our problem is right now we didn't make any hay. Our farmers didn't make any hay this summer, and so we're in a very deficit situation right now.
Larry Wooten is president of North Carolina's Farm Bureau, representing thousands of farmers enduring this merciless drought. He fears people like Carol have a tough winter ahead.
Many of our people that have horses, they're really facing a dilemma.
For Carol, it's sell and cut losses or continue to pile up debt. With hay nearly 3 times its usual price, feeding 22 horses is costing a fortune.
You know, I've basically run out of money. I don't have the money to feed the horses anymore. I'm just really having to scrape.
Even if her horses make it through the winter, predictions for the spring aren't good.
If we don't get rains as we move on into the spring, 2008 could really be a tougher, much tougher year, much more disastrous year than 2007.
Carol hopes to sell several horses in the spring when the market picks up, if she can keep them alive that long.
I'm not going to let these horses starve. You know, I just can't do that.
In Knightdale, I'm Jennifer Carpenter, Carolina Week.
You can help farmers like Carol by donating money for horse hay through the Horse Protection Society of North Carolina. Check our website, carolinaweek.org, for more information. Although the Tar Heels had an easy victory against NC State on the basketball court, we're trailing the Wolfpack in water conservation efforts. As it stands now, the average North Carolina State student uses 31 gallons of water a day. A typical UNC student uses 34. Our Raleigh rivals claim the gap is even wider. Officials base the numbers on water meter readings in campus residence halls. The competition started November 10th and ends February 20th when the Tar Heels travel to Raleigh to play the Wolfpack. Despite those conservation efforts, North Carolina is in the midst of the worst drought in history, but in Orange County, it's not nearly as bad as it is in the rest of the state. The Orange Water and Sewer Authority says University Lake is 6 feet 9 inches below full. It contains about 225 million gallons of water, which is about half the lake's capacity. Although these aren't record levels, they're still significantly below average. Right now, there's only about 7 months' supply of water left in Orange County's main water source.
The Ackland Art Museum is holding its first major exhibition of internationally recognized photojournalists who have studied at UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Picturing the World will include several educational initiatives. The exhibition will feature photos from 6 award-winning photographers, along with images from 25 other distinguished photographers. Visitors will also have the opportunity to view the photography of current UNC students. The American Council on Education has elected former UNC System President Molly Broad as its leader. Broad will be the first woman president of the ACE since its founding in 1918. The organization chose her for her ability to unite the sometimes divided public and private college sectors. Broad's inauguration is scheduled for May 1st. Current UNC System President Erskine Bowles credits North Carolina's excellence to Broad's 9 years of leadership. As president of the ACE, Broad will work with government officials and university leaders to create national policies and standards for educational institutions.
North Carolina's Booze It and Lose It campaign attempts to make the roads safer for drivers, and officers were out in full force this holiday season. Between November 30th and January 2nd, officers issued more than 4,000 drunken driving citations, more than 11,000 safety belt violations, and nearly 52,000 speeding tickets. The campaign will conduct several checkpoints in 2008. If you want to know when those operations will start, go to our website at www.carolinaweek.org. Cops also spent last year keeping their eyes on tobacco sales. State alcohol law enforcement officers cited more than 1,000 store clerks statewide for selling tobacco products to minors. Doing so is a misdemeanor, and clerks could receive a fine of $1,000 or up to 30 days of community service. Clerks could also receive jail time if this is their second offense. With the university's new smoking ban in effect that prohibits lighting up within 100 feet of university buildings, employees and students are rallying around the flag to take a drag. The American flag marks the only major area of campus unaffected by the ban. Between classes, smokers gather here to light up. There aren't any ashtrays, and the middle of the quad is littered with butts. Senior Elizabeth Whitner says the ban isn't likely to make her or her friends quit smoking.
Smoking was never really a problem on this campus, I thought. Like, if you walked through in December, I never really saw lots of smokers all over the quad blowing smoke in people's faces. They were like in their little designated spots, not bothering anyone. Now we just have the flagpole.
She says the ban makes the main quad ugly and simply forces a smoker to walk a few extra yards for a cigarette.
Taking an exam at UNC will cost students more than just a few hours of sleep this semester. Scantrons now cost 8 cents per sheet, and Blue Books each cost 15 cents. According to Student Store Supervisor John Jones, the university gave away more than 199,000 Blue Books last year, and much of that testing material went to waste. Jones says his decision to charge students for Scantrons and Blue Books should help cut down that waste, but he doesn't know yet how much money the university will save. When college students think of downloading music, they usually turn to providers like LimeWire, iTunes, and Napster. But now Duke students have a new way to access music from around the world: Smithsonian Global Sound for Libraries. The new database allows students to listen to recordings from India to Africa, country and blues, and even classical and Broadway hits.
You know, this week I think it's finally starting to feel like winter for the first time really all season.
Absolutely, and we're joined now by weathercaster Johnny O. Johnny O, please tell me there's some snow in the forecast.
Well, I'll say that you're right. There is talk of seeing some of that white stuff. I'll let you know if we'll get any of it next.
We believe in a world where all people have an equal opportunity for health and well-being.
Two kings, two jacks. Nice hand.
220. We've got a polyp at City Park.
220. We're on it. You never know when a colon polyp is going to show up.
Into the diaphragm.
Get the polyp early and stop colon cancer before it starts. Don't wait for symptoms. Get the test. Get the polyp.
You hate me because I'm a player.
Get the cure.
back to Carolina Week. I'm Jonathan O. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are. And yes, we just mentioned before the break, there's a chance of some possible snow that's coming up. And so I'll tell you about those chances in just a bit. We're also expecting a cold week to continue. Temperatures will fall into the teens again as we head toward the end of your weekend. And we're going to stay wet. A chance of some rain will continue throughout the entire weekend. But first of all, let's take a look at the North Carolina satellite and radar. Notice we have clouds moving in throughout the state. Notice we have some moisture moving into South Carolina. Currently, this is just rain, and we're expecting the system to continue to develop, move toward the north and east into North Carolina. We have a low pressure system located right over Florida at this time. This will track toward the north and east. And what is going to happen is we also have a high pressure system located up toward Virginia. These two systems will interact, and because of that, we will see moisture moving in, cold air from the north will combine together, and as this system moves toward North Carolina, there's that chance that we might be seeing some possible snow and mixed precipitation. Now here is future view. Notice this is for tonight. There is North Carolina right there. We're located right there where currently it's just cloud cover. For tonight, snow will be moving in, rain will stay to the south of us, but then by tomorrow, as we develop the system, notice there's that chance of some snow and rain. So in the morning hours, as you step outside, tiny chance that we might be seeing snow, mixed precipitation as we head in toward the 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock hours. That will change over into some rain. But it should not be a problem for roadways because the roads will be too warm for it to freeze over. But you might be seeing some nice things coming in from the sky. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, we're located right there in Orange County. Notice the red areas everywhere west of that. We'll be seeing a winter storm warning because they have a better chance of some heavier snow. But the yellow areas surrounding Orange County and Durham County and into Wake County, we have a winter weather advisory, meaning that we should look out for chances of some mixed precipitation as we go through the overnight hours into Thursday. Now, your forecast, if you're headed to the mountains, temperatures, look, 14 for overnight lows, so it will be quite chilly, but expect sunny skies. The beaches, slightly warmer, but still sunny skies, a low of 32 degrees. Here's your forecast for tonight. Expect temperatures to be close or below freezing, actually, if you want to see any of that snow, but it should remain relatively dry tonight. Tomorrow, expect a better chance of some snow and definitely rain, but a chance of some snow. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s. And then here's your 4-day forecast. We're going to expect temperatures to drop to 18 degrees by Sunday morning. So you need to have your jacket with you. It will stay sunny, slight chance of rain every day, and then we'll see temperatures go back down into the 30s for daytime highs by Sunday.
Well, I'm still going to pray for that snow, but I'm definitely going to be bundling up extra well when I go outside.
You'll need to. It'll get cold.
Definitely need that jacket. Johnny, thank you.
Thank you.
As a student journalist, it's not often when you get to be part of a national game telecast.
But many of us did get that chance, broadcasting the game between the Heels and UNC Asheville on ESPNU.
I was the clock and score reporter.
I was the slash cam operator.
And I was tape producer for the ESPNU broadcast.
Sarah Huffman, Adam Rue, and Katie Miller were all reporters.
Go out in the tunnel and shoot you just on camera for just a couple of minutes.
We had people doing utilities, doing camera work, pulling cable throughout the stadium. We had audio, we had a producer, which was very exciting, student producer.
Of course, there was Walter Storholt at play-by-play, and going into it, I kind of knew he was going to be good.
I learned a whole lot more than I thought I would. It was an incredible experience as far as seeing how good everybody was at what they did. I thought that was really incredible how everybody came together as a team when the broadcast went live and it went so smoothly.
I think this is one of the most unique opportunities that I've had so far in the journalism school.
For me, it was cool because it was sort of my last hurrah, like as a journalism student, like with all my Carolina Week friends, and it was so much fun.
It's certainly an experience none of us will ever forget. ESPNU plans to give the same opportunity to students at more than a dozen other universities.
And we're joined now by sportscaster Walter Storholt.
Walter, it's ACC time for the men's basketball team.
You're right, Adam. A lot of big games coming up for the Tar Heels. It starts tonight with Georgia Tech. Coming up in sports, make sure you're injury-free so you can dance like this and shoot like that.
Want to start a business? Have concerns about state regulations? Need information fast? Don't fret, the North Carolina Business Service Center is here for you. When you've got questions about business, we've got the answers that mean business. Pick up the phone and dial the Business Service Center. Call 1-800-228-8443.
Passing gas in the presence of others is not only inappropriate,
That is so foul.
it can be deadly. Passing gas releases a fog of carbon monoxide
Grandpa,
and other poisonous fumes that can contribute to asthma and pneumonia.
you're killing us over here.
Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas, take it outside.
The women's soccer team can now focus its attention on the pitch once again. A 9-year lawsuit ended Monday. The issue began in 1998 when 2 female soccer players filed a sexual harassment suit against head coach Anson Dorrance. The university settled with Debbie Keller in 2004 and this week with Melissa Jennings for more than $350,000. The athletics department says the settlement is to reimburse Jennings for her court fees, not to indicate guilt. Tonight, the men's basketball team will head to Atlanta for its second ACC matchup on the road. The Heels have to overcome a very different and more hostile crowd than this one, as well as a rash of rolled ankles. Ty Lawson and Marcus Ginyard both turned their ankles in Saturday's game versus NC State. Carolina must utilize the same smothering defense the Heels used against the Wolfpack to take their sting out of the Yellow Jackets. Danny Green needs to keep his shooting good and his dancing well too. Roy Williams is confident in Green's abilities.
Danny's, as I said the other day, I feel like I have 6 starters. I feel like that Danny's playing really, really good basketball for us. He's had a tape session with he and Dion together yesterday, and we talked about the defensive end of the floor more than we did anything else.
The women's basketball team is currently ranked number 3 in the nation with a 16-1 record. A familiar face missing from this year's team is Ivory Latta, the school's career leading scorer. Team officials retired Latta's jersey at halftime of the Georgia Tech game earlier this month. With senior guard Alex Miller sidelined by injury, freshman Satara DeGraffenreid has stepped up to lead the Heels' high-powered offense, boasting a Latoya Pringle on defense, Rashana McCants from deep, and Arlena Larkins on the inside. This year's team is nearly unstoppable. The next test is Thursday night against Boston College in Carmichael Auditorium. Winter break isn't much of a break for college athletes. Reporter Jason Kahn takes a look at what student athletes do when the rest of us are gone.
Ever wonder what athletes do to keep sane on campus during winter break?
We just really take the time of break to relax because we don't really have time during season because we have classes and ball games and practice. But I think most of us just sleep through most of the break.
We just hang out with each other, you know, go get food together in between practices, maybe go catch a movie, whatever we can do that's not too strenuous so we can rest up for practice.
I am sleeping the majority of the time. I don't leave my room much, so I'm either in my room sleeping, downloading some music. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Rock Band.
Wrestler Keegan Mueller says it's important to stay busy to keep from getting bored.
It's a real contact sport, so we're always doing something fun, whether we're just pushing each other around or sitting around watching a video, hanging out together.
Mueller says most athletes don't mind staying through the break because they're committed.
We realize that we only have this 4 years to be athletes left and get our goals done. We're not really feel like we're missing out on too much.
And now that classes are back in session, they're sleeping less and working more.
It's like, oh my gosh, we were just here for like a month by ourselves, you know, and everyone's coming back and I have 8 o'clock classes every day, you know, but once you get into the swing of it and practices and stuff, it goes by pretty quick.
And now all of us, student athletes and just plain students, are hoping for a very successful spring semester. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jason Kahn, Carolina Week Sports.
The wrestling team's first ACC match of the year versus Maryland had plenty of excitement for the fans. UNC's Nick Stabile got the Heels off to a great start with a 10-0 win, and Vincent Ramirez survived a close bout to extend Carolina's lead. But Maryland's Brian Letters eventually got Ben Fiacco's Heels off his back to score points for the Terps. Glad I wasn't on the other end of the lens on this shot. That's Carolina's Keegan Mueller manhandling Mike McGill. Mueller's 12-0 win put Carolina in the driver's seat for the rest of the match until Maryland's Hudson Taylor had this match-changing pin that gave the Terrapins their first lead of the day. Despite some nice highlights, Carolina couldn't quite complete the comeback. The Heels fall 17-19. Up next for the Tar Heels is Duke on Thursday in Carmichael. Adam, you should see me in a uniform, a wrestling uniform.
You know, I think you should keep your day job and probably spare all of us from seeing that.
Maybe I should.
Thank you, Walter. Shooting a brick is a bad thing in basketball.
But laying a brick is a big part of the beauty of our campus. Next, we'll introduce you to two guys whose work we walk all over.
When you shop in Orange County, your money comes back to you.
Thank you for shopping Orange.
So shop Orange and see what a difference you can make.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
When you walk across campus, do you stop to take in the beauty of the university? You might be missing one of the most prevalent features at UNC, and it's right under your nose.
The brick pathways at UNC's campus have a life of their own, changing and evolving every day. And with 52 miles of walkways meandering around the buildings of academia, it takes a crew of dedicated men to keep up with them. Claiborne Baker is one of the masons who take care of the brickwork at UNC. He's been here since 1980 and takes great pride in his job.
I love doing what I'm doing because I think what I'm doing it's a help to the university.
His colleague, David Jones, was born into a family of masons and so respects the work of his craftsmanship.
With brick and stone, you have to be a special breed in order to like it because it's one of the oldest arts in the world. And it takes special people to do it. You got to love it in order to do it and be successful in it.
Today, they're working on a portion of a path next to the bell tower. Both men are soft-spoken, but willingly share about the importance of their craft.
It's just, I think brickwork is something like, they'll never go out. They'll never, it's everlasting.
Despite the amount of work the masonry crew has to keep up with at UNC, the crew remains consistently warm and enjoys a laugh.
So we got a nice crew, and we all understand one another and work together very well. Yeah.
Well, we all basically one family.
And when they've laid the last brick of the day, they go home feeling proud and content.
It was so interesting talking to these men who take on such a huge undertaking around campus.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that none of us ever appreciates. We never think about it, and it's something we see every single day around campus, those brick pathways. Sometimes you might trip on the bricks, but they're beautiful, and we certainly owe those guys a debt of gratitude.
And if the men weren't there, then we would probably be tripping more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Our radio counterpart, Carolina Connection, kicks off this Saturday with new anchors Julia Ritchie and Walter Storholt, what a busy guy, and Ben Kane working sports.
The show airs on News Talk 1360 WCHL at 7:30 a.m. What a great way to start your weekend. And that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.